Welcome, everybody. This is episode 4 of the NextManUp Sportscast. With you, as always, I'm your host, Chooch, and my brother, Mandy, and we're gonna get into it today. I got this energy, I got this fire today. I love our topics, and you know what? I'm gonna get started. First one, you saw on Instagram, you had Paul George, Patrick Beverly talking smack to my guy Damian Lillard.
Straight busters, homie.
Busters for no reason. Both of those guys jumped ship. They had to go join a super team with Kawhi Leonard, and that's the only reason they're relevant now. What happened last year? My guy Damian Lillard sent Paul George home packing with one of the best shots I've ever seen in my life. And then the year before that, he did the same thing to the superior Rockets team. So both of those guys had to team up. Both of those guys had to add so many pieces to the Clippers in order to stay relevant. Just to stay relevant.
And let's let the record show that you're a Clipper fan.
I am a Clipper fan. But right now I'm on my boy Damian Lillard. Oh my goodness. The guy has and what he said was so true. Both of those guys are afraid of the grind. They're afraid to stay on a team that's not as good and get them there. But what has my guy Damian Lillard done? He's been with Portland his whole career. And there's been some dark days in Portland. But he's got them to the level to where they can compete, where every game, they are able to win a ball game. Even if they're going in and going to be the 8th seed and he's willing that team back in, I'm always going to put my money on Damian Lillard, whoever he's playing. I'm excited to see him. I hope they get the 8th seed rather than the 9th seed, but we'll see. But you know what? If he plays LeBron in the first round, that's scary for the Lakers. And I can't wait to see that fire that Damian Lillard, and they've woken up a sleeping giant because he dropped 51 the night after.
And let me just say this, man. Pat Beverly, again, you're a buster. Never liked you. And just because of your little antics on the sideline with your freaking neon green jumpsuit you had on, first of all, it looked ugly. You ugly. And second of all, what you're doing, man, it's just wrong, man. It's just absolutely wrong. Makes me dislike you even more. And Paul George, I mean, you're a buster, bro. You're a buster. Nobody likes you either.
Exactly. So, hey, shout out to my boy Dame Lillard. I love the way he stuck up for himself, and I love the way he responded with a 51-point game. And then we're gonna move on to our next topic. So that got me excited. But one thing that I'm fired up about, man, and not in a good way, in a bad way. You got two of the best teams in baseball right now, the Yankees and the Dodgers. People probably picked them to win both the AL and the NL. And honestly, both teams, I know the Yankees are ahead of their division, and I know the Dodgers are in second, but both teams are not playing to their potential whatsoever. And I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna start with the Dodgers, and I know I'm not a Dodger fan, but I'm gonna be unbiased as possible here. The Dodgers' problem, they don't have too many problems. They're a great team. But their problem right now is their leadership is not playing well at all. Cody Bellinger is
inconsistent.
Batting 176. Awful. Clayton Kershaw, high ERA. Walker Buehler, high ERA for Walker Buehler. His ERA is about 4. Clayton Kershaw about the same. Those guys are not playing well. And the thing is, Cody Bellinger's in a position in the lineup where he's always batting with runners in scoring position, and he's not delivering. The veteran leadership on that team has been shaky. Justin Turner's been good, but everybody else has struggled.
Well, let me just say this, though. I mean, you're absolutely right. The Dodgers' big-time players have not come through. And you have to remember, this is not new for Cody Bellinger. Remember, yes, he's the NL MVP, the reigning NL MVP. But remember, he got that award because of how hot he was last year at the beginning of the season. He was flaming, bro. He was like West Hollywood hot.
Agreed.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I know enough. But the second part of the season, Cody Bellinger, he struggled a little bit. It was that big first part that got him through that NL MVP, and it's carrying over to this year, 100%. Mookie Betts, he's getting a little hotter, right?
Yeah.
But who's really carrying the Dodgers? You say, veteran leadership. JT's been consistent. He's been consistent. No. AJ Pollock. AJ Pollock, man, I hate you, AJ Pollock, because of you, they got rid of Puig, okay?
That's true.
But I'm a believer now. I'm starting to believe AJ Pollock has been coming through the clutches of moments. He's being that veteran leadership. And, luckily the Dodgers have a lot of depth. Corey Seager's gone down to an injury. Then you got Taylor, who's playing phenomenal at shortstop. You have Kike Hernandez started hot. He's cooling off a little bit. But in the pitching staff, I think the Dodgers have one of the best bullpens.
Their bullpen
in
has
the
been
major
well.
leagues.
I really
Very
like
well.
I really like Blake Trinan a lot. I like Alexander a lot. They got a ton of great pieces in that
How
bullpen,
about that
and that's
one
something
guy
they
who throws
haven't
like
had.
100 miles per hour by flicking his wrist? His last name starts with a G. I completely forgot his name. But, I mean, that kid's a stud.
Yeah.
And who we're not mentioning, who I think is so far, don't come at me, Dodger fans, because I'm a Dodger fan. Dustin May looked like the Dodgers ace. You didn't like him. You didn't like him. I think as of right now, he's their ace. He pitched yesterday. He had 2 runs in 6 innings, man. He's doing really well.
I like Dustin May a little bit more now, but the thing about Dustin May is he has great stuff for swing and misses, but people make a lot of contact on his pitches. He gives up a lot of hits. Yeah, he gives up a lot of hits, and when you make contact on a pitcher who's throwing that hard, the ball's gonna go pretty far. Yeah. So I love Dustin May. I like him a lot more. One guy who you mentioned early, and I think is nasty, like nasty. Julio Urias has got ridiculous stuff. I watched him pitch, and wow, like I'm impressed by that guy.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
I'm telling you right now, don't you wish, now that Seager's out, don't you wish the Dodgers still had Charlie Culberson and didn't trade him to the Braves or let him go to the Braves?
No, Chris Taylor's amazing. Chris Taylor's doing a great job.
He's good, but I'd rather have him in the outfield than get Culberson's bat in that lineup, but that's just me. But anyway.
That's true.
But anyway.
Now, we're over here, hitting the panic button real quick in the Dodgers, but they're still, I think, tied for first of the Rockets, 1 game back of the Rockies, because they both lost yesterday.
While I agree with you, but they just haven't played well against teams like the Giants. They haven't played well against the Padres, who are legit contenders with Tatis and Machado just leading the charge there. But, we'll see how the season goes. I still believe in the Dodgers. I just think they need to right the ship a little bit. Yeah. So moving on to the Yankees. So yes, the Yankees are in first in the AL East. Let me preface it by saying that. But they dropped 2 to the Rays and they dropped 2 to the Phillies, back-to-back series losers, right?
Is it safe to say that the NL West is tougher than the AL East?
Right now, yes. Now, yes. But the issue that the Yankees are having is their starting pitching is, besides Garrett Cole, is awful. Well, Tanaka had a really good outing. He got no run support, but it's bad. They lost Severino to an injury. Hopefully he can come back. They lost Domingo Germán to some domestic violence stuff. Terrible. He won 18 games last year, and then Paxton just hasn't been there. I don't know what's going on with that guy. J-Happ gives up home runs every 3 at bats, it feels like. So their starting pitch has been awful. They have one of the best bullpens in baseball. I mean, they did lose Tommy Kahnle, great player, but at the same time, their bullpen is working so hard because their starting pitching is going 3-4 innings, you just can't have that. And the Yankees, their bats can only do so much if their pitching is not helping.
And right now, who's hurt? Stanton, right? He's on the DL.
He's on the DL. He's got a little hamstring issue, so that's definitely going to hurt.
I don't watch too much of the Yankee games, but I put a little bets here and there. And who I think is really disappointing for the Yankees has been their catcher, right? What's his name?
Gary Sanchez has been awful.
What happened?
Not only has he been awful with the bat, he has been terrible defensively. Yes. They try to switch him to instead of being in a true catcher stance, he goes on one knee now because he has such a good arm. He can still throw people out. He blocks nothing. He so many pass balls. The Yankees need to do something about their catching position. I would say DH him, but even then he's not hitting the baseball.
He's not hitting.
He's not hitting the baseball. He's striking out at a ridiculous rate. He's got 1 home run this year, and he's batting under 200. I think he was batting under 100 for a long time. So the Yankees definitely need, I think at the trade deadline, they need to do something, adding a starting pitcher. If they move Sanchez, I used to love the guy, but now I'm like, I'm not gonna even worry about moving Sanchez. They can move Sanchez, option him. It doesn't matter to me right now.
You know what the Dodgers and the Yankees both have in common, and why though we're kind of bashing them right now here and there, we're focusing on their negatives.
I have expectations.
But what the Dodgers and the Yankees both have, they have so much depth. Yeah. And that's why they have already double-digit wins, and they're going to win their leagues because of this depth. And on the Dodgers side, Belly hasn't been hitting at all, but then you have A.J. Pollock, you have Chris Taylor, Corey Seager, Betts, Turner, who could all, and any one game go off. To the Yankees, their catcher hasn't been doing pretty bad, but they have still got Aaron Judge. They're still gonna get Carlos Stanton back.
DJ LeMahieu.
LeMahieu. There you go.
Gleyber Torres, Luke Voigt. Yeah, they got a ton of depth, and you're right, and that's what's keeping them in these games. That's what's keeping them winning. But you said the Dodgers win their division. I'm a little worried with the Rockies on the horizon, man. I really am.
I like yesterday what happened to the Rockies. They got lit up.
Yeah,
they got lit up yesterday,
and that's gonna happen playing at Coors Field, But Charlie Blackmon's on a 400 average watch. We'll see what's going on with that. But I mean, it is what it is. I think these teams will bounce back.
Yeah, for sure. So, what do we got next?
You tell me. What do we have next?
If I'm not mistaken, we have this one thing called Chooches Lock of the Week, baby. Lock of the Week, yes, sir. But I don't know. Should we still call it the Lock of the Week? Because when I hear the word lock, security. That's what I think of. A lock, security, safe. Man. You lost last week. Your Lock of the Week. Good. So you're still 2-1. So if I do my math correctly, 2 out of 3, carry the 5, 7. That's 66%.
Oh, I don't like hearing that. I don't like it.
So let's go there, everyone. Let's start a new hashtag. 60% Chuchi. Okay, 60% Chuchi. But no, I'm just kidding, people. It's their early year. He's gonna bounce back this week, big time. And the game that he's gonna bounce back is gonna be the MLB game. It's gonna take place on Friday, and it's gonna be the crosstown rivals, the Bay Area foes. We got the A's against the Giants. So talk to us who we got. A's or Giants? Well, obviously you got the A's because they're favorite. Tell us why.
Yep. So I got the A's to beat the Giants. And it's not necessarily because I think the Giants are so bad. I don't think that. I think that they're a tough team to play 9 innings of baseball against. At times they look terrible. At times defensively they look terrible. But the Oakland Athletics have been on a tear. I mean, they just lost last night to the Angels in a 10-9 game, but before that they were on a 9-game winning streak. And these guys, they come to play every single night. Matt Chapman has been tearing the cover off the baseball. Olsen, Simeon, all of these guys. And my favorite part about the Oakland Athletics right now is they bench Chris Davis. Thank you. Whoever made that decision, thank you. The guy is awful. He hasn't been hitting anything. He's not good. Not good right now. So they bench Chris Davis, and their offense is looking ridiculous. And their team is looking ridiculous, and so is their pitching.
Okay, I wouldn't say their offense is looking ridiculous. I put a lot of bets on the A's, and I put a lot of unders in A's games, and they've been hitting the unders, so they've been doing enough to win games. I wouldn't say ridiculous, but yes, yesterday was Monday, they went off. They went off
9 runs, and their bullpen gave it up. Yeah.
If you guys ever have a team parlay to fill, whatever, bet the A's in the under. I mean, it's going to happen. But you like the A's, right? Because the Giants.
I like the A's.
The Giants. They have the worst. Well, I should say the worst. They have one of the worst bullpens in all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I agree. Their bullpen has been terrible, and that's the one thing that the A's have been good at is getting to teams' bullpens because their offense gets started early. So look out for the A's to win, and not just win, but win big. So give me the A's.
Cool. And then moving on to the your underdog, which is what's your record? Remind me and the fans, what's your record in underdogs?
I'm 0-ers on that one.
So 0-4-3, carry the 0, you add another 0, divided by 0%.
Yeah, 0%. Not looking good.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna get in the winning column this week. I'm telling you.
And he says he's gonna get in the winning column, and it's gonna be with the Rockies and the Rangers, right?
Yes. So I love the Rockies this year. I think their bats have been great.
I think we all know that.
But they're cooling off, like you said, and the guy who's going to cool them off completely is my boy Lance Lynn. And I love Lance Lynn. This guy has allowed 3 runs all year, has been just a straight-up ace. He's a little bit chunky, which is one of the reasons why I like him. He gives hope for guys like me. And he goes out there and he just performs. He doesn't let people hit the baseball, and he doesn't let people score very often. The Rangers' offense has been abysmal, but I think when Lance Lynn gets on the mound, they're going to do enough to beat the Rockies. And I see it as a low-scoring game, like a 2-3 game, 1-2 game, because you got on the other side you got German Marquez, who also can deal.
Yes.
took a no-hitter into about the 6th, 7th inning of game 1 and lost 1-0 to the Rangers. So yeah, give me Lance Lynn and the Rangers to cover and beat the Rockies in this game.
Okay, so to recap, if you out there got like 20, $30, we're playing a little 14 parlay on Friday, man. If judging from both of us, I would say take the lock of the week, which is the
Oakland A's money line.
Oakland A's. I would say take the under in that game.
I would
be safe. And then even take the Rangers and the unders.
The under. That'd be a pretty solid bet. I'd probably get you like plus 400 or so. So
okay.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. And so that was the lock of the week. That was the underdog. We're gonna get you some money there. And we also put on a video how to sports bet. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you watch that if you need help, with the terminology and whatnot. But yeah, so we're moving on to, honestly, we've had some really great interviews. But this one has definitely been one of my favorites.
Yes.
We're talking to Coach Frogg, he's a part owner of this program called Stars. And here they train guys to become college athletes, whether across sports, and they train kids from the ages of like 6 up until they're pro athletes, and they work them out together, and they go beyond that. Coach Frogg has the Stars Academy School where he's teaching kids not only about sports and all the good benefits that sports brings you, but life skills and getting these kids prepared for the next step in life, whatever that is. And he's got so many great connections with NFL guys, college athletes, all that great stuff. And we're just so honored to talk to our guy, Coach Frogg.
Let's go. All right. What's up, Coach Frogg, man? How you doing out there?
I'm good, man. How about you guys?
Cool, man. We're doing
good,
great.
Doing good.
So just to remind our fans out there, man, we got Coach Frogg, part owner of Stars Training Facility, man. It's a big-time training facility for NFL, college studs. So let's get into it, man. Talk to us. What is Stars?
Man, great question, man. Stars is actually an acronym for Sports Training and Rehabilitation Services. So really what it is an all-inclusive facility that could take an athlete to whatever the next level may be. So whether it's, a 6-year-old trying to get ready for tackle football, or a junior high school athlete trying to get ready for high school, or Juju Smith-Schuster trying to get ready for the Pro Bowl. Really, That's been the strength of what we can do, is just really being able to take care of an athlete from, an injury to preventing an injury, to the weight room, to speed, to position work. And really the biggest part is the interaction between whoever's above you. So whether it's, Marquise Lee or Dory Jackson working out with a 10-year-old, or whether it's, DJ Uyunglele and Bryce throwing with our next generation of quarterbacks, we've really built a community, a culture. We call it our family versus your facility. And we really treat it as such, is everybody trying to help each other. But whatever it may be an athlete needs, we're able to accommodate, and we're able to prepare them for that next level. That's really Stars in a nutshell. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely different than anywhere else that I've seen, not being biased, or maybe a little, but it's definitely a special place.
That was a great explanation, man. That was a great elevator speech, trying to give somebody that 2-minute rundown on who you guys are. I like that a lot. You talked about some of that rehabilitation stuff, and I was checking your IG today, and I saw you kind of working with Kevin White. And I know not a ton of people might know who he is, but I know he was a big first-round pick for the Bears, I believe, when he first came out of West Virginia. And I know he had some bad injuries, so are you guys kind of trying to get him back to his West Virginia, kind of where he was there?
Man, that's interesting. I see you've been doing your homework. Yeah. Me and Kev were on the field this morning, actually. He just flew in. He flies in for about a week or two, then flies back home.
Okay.
So he flew in for some extra work. And, yeah, Kevin was the number 6 overall pick in the draft, ran 4.3 at the combine, made himself a lot of money. But, due to injuries and, a lot of things that happened early on in his career, he missed a lot of snaps. So there's this perception of him not being able to stay on the field. And our medical team and our staff, from everything, we've really dove in. So we've had Kevin White his entire college career. And when he decided to go pro, according to his team around him, they decided to take him somewhere else to train. He got a little bit bigger. He got a little bit of muscle, but I think that weight bothered his legs a little bit, which caused some of those injuries. So if you remember Kevin White versus Alabama, when he was at West Virginia and he went for 190 in the first half, that weight was in a good spot. So actually on my Instagram right now, there's 2 videos of him running, and he's back to 4.3 form. He's back to his comfortable weight, and we're ready to shock, really all of NFL in the sense of this dude's back. He has a chip on his shoulder, and he's gonna make some big noise to whoever gives him a shot. So we're excited, but our team works together. So it's really everybody, including the sports medicine staff, the performance team, the position work. But Kevin's gonna have a humongous year no matter where he lands, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, I honestly, I believe you, because I remember him coming into the draft. He was probably the most athletic receiver in that draft, like super fast, can jump better than anybody. And I remember the Raiders almost taking him actually right before the Bears did. And they ended up getting Amari Cooper, which worked out for both sides, I guess. But I totally believe, especially with you guys working with him. I'm one of those guys who I remember how athletic and how fast he was, and I'm excited to see him healthy, man. Really, I am.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. And I think we both got a chip on our shoulder. We're really good friends off the field, and obviously we train together, or I train them.
Good.
So there's a chip on our shoulder, and I got tweets and text messages and all kinds of stuff saved from people telling me he wasn't going to make it and saying that he's a bust, and we're out to prove a lot. And that's really going back to the family thought. He's a part of the family, so we're going to protect the name, and we're going to go out and battle for him.
All right. I love that. I love that.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned someone that you're trying to get back into the NFL and stuff like that with Kevin White. Who's that next generation kid in college right now that's coming out of Stars that in about 2-3 years he's going to go to the NFL and just make some nasty noise?
Yeah, man, it's a good group. Luckily, we've been blessed with wide receivers and DBs and some damn good quarterbacks. But at the wide receiver position, I think we have a load of talent coming into next year's draft. Tyler Vaughn from the University of Southern California.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've had since he was in high school, and local kid, but really could do everything. Bends his hips well, changes direction, high points the ball, and most impressive is his body control. He's able to maintain control while in the air and land. Now there's some crazy stat of him leading the country with catches from a yard from the sideline, which is the definition of his body control. And then his hands are just really natural. He was a baseball player, so his ability to pluck the ball is really special. And then at the University of Houston, Marquez Stevenson, Mr. Big Playmaker himself. I have a feeling Marquez, a.k.a. Speedy, he wears number 5 for the University of Houston. I really think he's going to make a run at the combine 40-yard dash record, which our speed coach Gary owns, with a 4.22 with him and John Ross. Wow. But I think Marquez is going to definitely make a run for it. Marquez is a burner. He led the nation in catches over 50 yards, and his speed is second to none. It's actually, it's really track speed, but he's able to drop his hips and play football. So he's another guy I'm looking out for. And Jalen Waddle at the University of Alabama, Rashad Bateman at the University of Minnesota, and then we have guys in high school who, I'll be honest, man, this high school game's gotten crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I like that, man.
Bo Collins at St. John Bosco is one of our guys. And, man, if he works out with our NFL guys right now, and guys are like, dude, who does he play for? I'm like, man, he has another year of high school left. So,
wow.
The game has changed. But Bo, is the number 1 receiver in the nation in the senior class. And C.J. Williams from Mater Dei is the number 1 wide receiver in the junior class. And I think both of them are special, and really when I say that, I mean special in between their ears, in their maturity, in the way they carry themselves, in the way they train, they prepare, and then physically, both of them look like college football players right now. Right. So good group of receivers coming.
No,
so
for sure.
Man.
So I know you mentioned Bateman from Minnesota. I know he wasn't in the news lately because he's actually opted out, right, for this upcoming year.
Yeah. Yep. He opted out early this week and has decided to pursue his career in the NFL, which I think is going to be a trend for a lot of these guys, and it's going to be something that's happening more frequent. But we're here to support him, whatever that looks like, whatever that is. We'll definitely have his back, and we'll be ready.
So you talked about kind of how the game is changing. How long have you been training? How long have you been doing stuff like this?
Man, since about 2006, I've
Wow.
been doing
Okay.
this. So for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a while. So with that, you know, the game like you said, the game has changed a lot. It's become a very pass heavy league, you know, which puts a lot, you know, of importance on receivers, on DBs, kind of those guys you were talking about. How has your training kind of shifted to, you know, emphasize that for certain players, or get, or new skill sets that you're teaching guys, or things like that?
That's a great question, man. Yeah, I think the biggest way the game is changing us to evolve has just been continuing to coach and continuing to
Okay.
get better ourselves. You know, I meet frequently every offseason. I try to visit a university or an offensive coordinator or an NFL coach to not only expand our knowledge in route running, but in concepts. And I think that's really been the special part of Stars and what sets us apart. So now you're getting these 16, 17-year-old kids, these Bryce Youngs, these DJ Uiagalelei's who have been in playbooks and meetings with me for, call it, 6, 7 years. And their knowledge of football as a whole is almost as a coach. So to me, the biggest change that I've seen for the people that continue to set the bar has been the mental approach. How do you attack the playbook? How do you understand what's happening? How do you know the adjustments? How do you change a route?
Absolutely.
Hey, so
You're not wrong.
you mentioned two players, Young and DJ, man. I know they did their battles in the high school ranks or the Open Division Championship and stuff like that. How many times do you think that they're going to be facing off in the NCAA Championship?
Man, if you ask me, I'm gonna say for the next 3 to 4 years.
Right. So Bryce is at Alabama,
no,
right, and DJ's at Clemson, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
both of them ended up in great positions, and I've had both those young men since they were in 4th and 5th grades, and Bryce's family, Craig and Julie, are absolutely amazing, and DJ and his mom Tasha are just great people overall. So so I think they got nothing but amazingness waiting for them to happen, and greatness just all over them. And to me, I'm just as excited to see what they do off the field. But I do have a date circled. Their junior year, the national championship game is actually in LA at the LA Stadium. So I don't want to look too far. I'm hoping to see them all 3 years play in the big game. But Trevor's there at Clemson, and the other quarterback at Alabama are going to give those kids a run for their money. So they got to go earn it. They got to do what they have to do, but nothing new to who they are and what we've done. But I'm excited to see them, man. They're going to have long careers, that's for sure.
No, for sure. The only gripe I have against Bryce Young, I love the kid. Yeah, I know where you're going. You're right. He left Cathedral, bro.
Yeah.
But we all know. Yeah, but we all know why. He had to go to Mater Dei. I respect it. I mean, he left Cathedral for 2 years, and he made the jump to Mater Dei. I still love Bryce, so it's all good.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Yeah, he had to make a tough decision, and we say once a phantom, always a phantom. So
that's right.
Yeah. So tell me, what separates your kids from like somebody else going in to a position trying to earn a starting spot at Alabama or at Clemson? What have they taken from Stars to really, set them above the other competition?
Yeah, I always say people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And I think what sets us apart is definitely the ability to prepare them. Bryce has been throwing to professional athletes since he was in 6th, 7th grade. DJ has been doing the same. I have a video on my phone right now of my young quarterback on the Cali Bears. He's 10 years old throwing to professional athletes. Malachi Nelson this morning on that video, he's throwing to Kevin White and Jordan Lasley. And to me, it's the ability to prepare. And when we throw, it's not only about throwing and showing off their arm strength and what they're doing. I think there's a lot of coaches out there that do a phenomenal job coaching the fundamentals, the technique, how to throw a ball properly, how to run a route properly. I think the biggest thing is how to put all that together. I've been an offensive coordinator at the high school level in California at Cathedral, and then I was an offensive coordinator at Eastern Christian Academy in Maryland. I've sat around Jeremy Bates who was recently the offensive coordinator for the Jets. Pete Carroll is a very close personal friend of mine. Dave Canales. So our relationships, are very, very embedded in college, NFL, and high school football. So I think it's the ability to be able to articulate the game. So when we throw a slant route, we're not just throwing the slant. We're imagining what the coverage is, where the defender is, where are we placing the ball. So when our guys get to camp, when our guys go compete, their mental approach of the game is just way different. And then you add that on top of being around NFL athletes, and you eliminate the games. You eliminate the silly, hey, we're just out here to have fun because
Right.
Juju's out here and he dances on his videos. Juju's 100% serious when he's at his workouts, and he's going to have some fun, and I'm going to have some fun, but we're going to take care of business first and foremost. So I think adding the mental approach with the mental ability to process information, I think that's the biggest difference. And, when you look at a Stars athlete, those things are embedded in them from the moment they walk into the facility.
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's a really cool combination of, not only, I mean, these guys already got really pretty naturally gifted, but with you
Yep.
working hard with them and teaching them the intangibles, those are things that, I'm assuming a coach like Saban, a coach like Pete Carroll, guys like that are measuring up when they're recruiting guys. And it's easier to pick the guys who have that, embedded in them already at 18, 17 years old, man. So that,
Yeah, no doubt.
I love what you're doing down there. That's awesome. That is awesome.
No, I appreciate it.
Now-
Yeah, Sark, Steve Sarkisian, who's at Alabama, actually, I have the picture. He watched Bryce throw in 7th grade, and he was at USC at the time, and he was like, I'm going to offer this kid. Like, this kid's unbelievable. Sark goes on to the NFL and does a really good job with the Falcons, and then goes back to Alabama.
Right.
And sure enough, Bryce is going into his senior year, and, that relationship pre-built, knowing what the kid is, where he comes from. Obviously, I'd be lying if I was like, oh, we made Bryce who he is. Nah, his parents have a lot to do for that. Modern Day Cathedral, all the people around had a lot to do with that. But I think those intangibles are definitely a big part of him being in the position he's in and getting ready to compete.
I love that. That's
So I saw
awesome.
that Stars, they're actually branching out, right? And now you have a Stars Academy Prep.
There you go, baby. There you go.
Talk to us about the Stars Academy Prep, man. What's that about?
Yeah, man, it's exciting. So myself, I grew up, South Central LA, single parent home. My mom was an immigrant from Mexico. Sports were the way I was able to get out. I was able to express myself, stay out of trouble, really meet some positive influences in an otherwise place where there wasn't many. And I never went to a college game, an NFL game. I never met a college football player. I never met an NFL football player till I was an adult. And to me, the academy is really about showing these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders how close and how normal it is for them to be successful and how easy it is for them to do it. So I think we've done something truly remarkable with our enrichment program, where we bring in guest speakers from different fields and different professions, whether it's Gary Vaynerchuk, whether it's Sammy Smith-Schuster, Juju's mom. They talk about, Gary talks about, him being an entrepreneur and what he did and his struggles. Sammy talks about, being mom, but at the same time being momager. She runs all of Juju's foundation, his management team, all of it. And then on top of that, obviously the academics and then the training. We don't change our trainers. It's the same exact staff that works with all our pros. So I think it's definitely something that is second to none. I think it's something that's going to change the game. So what we've done is we select 50 students per class, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade through an interview process, and they come into our academy and we just let loose. We've had the most junior high athletes offer Division I scholarships. We've had the most Division I athletes. We've had the most junior high athletes attend high schools with financial help. And, we're really just going to take this thing bigger and bigger. And it's a really special program that I'll be honest, I wish I had. But because I didn't, now it's going to be that much better for whoever does join.
Absolutely. And you said it. I mean, special's the word, that's exactly what it is. I've never heard of anything like it. Like you said, I wish I had something like that growing up. That's it's amazing, man. It's bigger than sports. It really is bigger than sports. Like you talked about the financial literacy stuff. And especially like I grew up in LA, I live in Colorado now, but I grew up in LA and I know that you don't get that stuff. You know what I mean? You have to learn on your own as an adult when it's too late. What's a credit card? How do I get a loan, or all that stuff? And yeah, like I said, that's just bigger than sports, man. That's amazing to hear that someone's out there doing that, educating the youth and really just giving them opportunities that weren't there.
It's called Stars Academy Prep. Yep.
Stars
If you
Academy.
go on, it's online. Our website is starsocal.com, or obviously my Facebook or Instagram is just under Coach Frogg with 2 G's. Everything's on there, man. It's a great program. Our school is actually filled to capacity for year 1, but starting January, we're going to take the new applicants for year 2. So it'll be exciting. I expect it only to get bigger and better every year, and I can't wait.
Cool. So to change gears and to kind of wrap it up a little bit, This has been a great interview, man. A great
Amazing.
interview.
Amazing.
Yeah. But your son, right? You mentioned your son. You guys have a little Pop Warner team.
Yeah, man. I coach my son's team. That's the beauty of not coaching college football right now. I get to coach my son's team, and I'm having a blast, man. It's a lot of fun. He's 12 years old, and I've surrounded him with his buddies and his friends and everybody that's on there. And it's been a hell of a time. It's been a great time. They actually play for the Montebello Indians. And then we have our own 7-on-7 Stars team. But yeah, man, I feel like I got 28, 30 kids because they're always at the house and they're always there. But I have a blast with them, man. Little Chris doing a good job, so it's good.
So should we already pencil you in to be the OC at Cathedral in a couple of years?
Yeah, man. They've been calling me. They're like, yeah, you go.
I've been there.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man. I would love nothing more than keep working with them, but I'm trying to be as hands-off as I can.
For sure.
I told them youth football would be it, but I'm going to definitely be around in some capacity. I would love to see them, be back at Cathedral balling, but we'll see what happens, where it goes.
Sure.
I'm in contact with Martin and AJ, though, so hopefully it pans out.
So one thing we do in our show, away from the guests, but I like to do it with you just because of your answers that you've given. I love them, man. And I want the people to get to know more about a lot of this stuff because I think it's important. So we do takeaways, right? So we take the week as a whole. We kind of take in everything, and then we spit out what we took away the most from it. I want you to give us a takeaway from when you first started, a program like Stars, or when you first started learning that, I could do something with sports. What has been your takeaway on this journey? I know you're still on it. I know you're still going on it. But what has been your takeaway from this journey, man? Like, what is the one thing that you've learned and you're going to take with you everywhere? You're going to teach your son. You're going to teach all these kids at Stars.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is that there's no limit to what a kid can learn, and there's no limit to what you could do with a young person's mind if you're willing to push that envelope and you're willing to take it to another level. I think a lot of people, when I first started, were like, what is this guy doing? Why is he doing it? I started working with kids at the park and just working people out. I was, taught at Cathedral, and, I became the youngest director for the All-American game. And then I traveled all over the United States because of this game. So to me, if somebody would have told me you could go to college football and then you show him how, then it becomes realistic. So to me, it's not letting people put limits on what anybody could do, and it's really showing them what they could do. And if they fall a little short, then at least they're all college graduates. And that's okay with me, because that's the biggest emphasis for my kids at my school and anybody that's around me. I'm going to never talk to you about high school football or youth football. I'm going to talk to you about college football. And if you have that mindset at 12 years old, you have a better shot at making it. Now, if you don't, and your academics are squared away, and you learn these skills from this game, how to be on time, how to be accountable, how to be a team player, how to believe in others, how to take leadership, how to take instruction. Well, guess what? Those are the same things you need to be a good employee, to be a good owner, to be a good boss, to be a good husband, to be a good son. So if you could do all of those things, then you're in a good spot. And that's really been my biggest takeaway, is that people see this game as the end-all, be-all, and they're charging for scholarships. And if I get you a scholarship, I'm going to charge you for this. Well, shit, man, I'm sorry. This is why I've always done this. So scholarships are supposed to come with hard work, and all that's supposed to come. That's what we're supposed to want for these kids and these people. So to me, that's the biggest takeaway, is you can't put a cap on somebody that's that young, because then you're just limiting their growth.
That was awesome, man. We've been doing takeaways on this show for 3 weeks now. I think that was the best one we've had.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, appreciate it, dang, man.
Hey, real quick.
You better not tell next week's person the same thing.
Hey, you got to tune in to find out, right?
Hey, Frogg. Before you go, Frogg.
I'm good, man. I got time. Y'all good.
Cool. Hey, before you think back to your high school years playing football at Cathedral, who was the worst team in the league?
Oh my gosh.
Please say. I'm hoping you say the.
I want to hear him say. It. Go ahead.
Dang, the worst team in the league was probably when I first started. It was our first couple years was probably Cantwell, and then my senior year had to have been like Bosco or somebody.
Yes, there you go, baby.
Yeah, we didn't play Cantwell. We only played Cantwell 1 year, and they were on LA Times talking all this. So I'm like, man, this is a big game. That thing was 63-0. I was like, oh, these guys are awful. And then they left the league, and then Bosco might have been. Bosco was always fun though. I think it was more fun for the fans than it was for us. I'm sitting
Hey.
here like, this game's over at halftime, man. What y'all happy about? We got
That's us. I'm a Bosco Tech alum, and that's why I tell my brother I tell my brother all the time. I'm like, I know we weren't the best at sports, but damn, we love that shit. So
yeah, y'all hyped it up. Y'all hyped it up for sure. Yeah, you had people feeling like it was gonna be a real game.
Exactly.
Hey, man, I appreciate it so much for this. It was awesome.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Anytime, man. I appreciate you guys. Keep doing what you're doing, man. If y'all ever need anything else, just let me know.
Oh, for sure. Appreciate it, Frogg. If you're not blown away, I don't know what could get you blown away, because hearing Coach Frogg speak, man, he's a motivational speaker. But beyond that, he speaks the truth. I mean, you saw the laundry list of names he gave us, and all those pro athletes, college athletes, man, they all train with Stars, the Stars Center. I mean, it's one of a kind. It's top notch. And he just gave a great insight on the whole rehab part of it and the whole mental aspect. It's an amazing, Coach Frogg, you're listening right now, man. I appreciate it. Can't wait to get you back. And, man, that was, I think, one of the best interviews we've done so far.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And honestly, one word to use to describe Coach Frogg is genuine and honest. That guy was that's what I would say about him. But that was great. And I love that interview. And, I hope everybody does too. But now we're moving on to the best segment of this show. We're moving on to Rapid Fire Sports Trivia with Mandy.
Wait, with 100% last week, Mandy.
Oh, man. Come on. You're still like at 70%. We're going to keep you there. We're going to hopefully we can get you lower here. So, with Coach Frogg, with Coach Frogg, we talked about these rookies, right? We talked about a lot of these young players.
Okay.
So we're gonna go and his major focus is football. So I'm not gonna give you the names this time, but I'm gonna see if you can name me the top 5 rookie quarterbacks as far as passing yards in a season. Top 5 rookie passing yards in a season performances. Who are the quarterbacks? And if you can tell me the team names, that'd be better.
Top 5 passing yard quarterbacks. Okay.
Rookies. Rookie seasons.
Rookie seasons. Okay, that's going to be intense. Wow, I'm drawing complete blanks. But I'm going to go with fire. Yeah, because remember, you got to think about the rookie season. A lot of these top-notch quarterbacks don't really play the rookie seasons for my
Hey, buddy, it's rapid fire. That means we got to shoot them off rapidly.
I'm gonna go with rookies. Top of my head, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Mariota, Watson, and fifth one. Let's go with we'll go with your boy Derek Carr.
Oh, I like the pick. But so top 5 all time. You got one.
What? Sounds kind of hard, man.
That one that's a tough one. So, but they're not that tough actually when you actually hear the list. So, number 1 of all time, for the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, and then Andrew Luck. Number 2 all time, for the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton. Number 2 all time. Number 3 all time, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got this one right, Jameis Winston. And number 4 all time, for the Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz.
Oh my God.
And number 5 all time, one of the greats of all time, also played for the Colts, Peyton Manning.
Oh wow.
So you got 1 out of 5. That's gonna put us at a 12 out of 20. So we got
60%.
Manning. We got Mandy's average back down to 60%.
I'll take it. These get degrees.
We did it, boys. We got them back down. Fans, if you like this segment, submit us some questions. I promise Andy won't read them, and we'll stump them again. So no bonus question this week. So we're gonna move on after rapid fire, which was awesome. 1 out of 5, the best score segment ever. We're gonna move on to our takeaways. So. If you watch the show, we do a takeaway at the end of the show. We did one with Coach Frogg today, and his was awesome. But what has been your takeaway, Mandy, this week so far in sports or in life or what? Tell me.
So, as you guys all know, I'm a teacher. I teach high school over here in LA, and man, just we're getting back to high school this year, and I just really feel bad for our high school athletes and high school students in general. And again, I narrow it down to high school because that's what I teach. But I can have a daughter who's in middle school and have a daughter who's going to be in pre-kindergarten, and just the fact that we're already training young kids. And my daughter's the 4-year-old. Her first experience is going to be learning at home in front of a computer instead of in person. So that's tough, man. And I'm going to bring it all together because mental state. Man, this whole mental health issue it's a really big deal when it comes to our students, our kids, because they're cooped up at home. They can't see their friends. Me as an educator, I came to work yesterday for the first time. We had meetings on campus, socially distanced, and actually it was fun to speak to other adults. Like, I never looked forward to these meetings, but the first time in 5-6 months, I was actually able to see my co-workers and talk sports with them. Right? I have a teacher who's a big Padres fan, so I made fun of Fernando Tatis and his blonde tips. I have another teacher who loves college football, and we talk about if the season's going to happen. So it was just great to talk to adults about sports, about school, and just trying to normalize school the best we can. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes, but I hope it all pans out the way we want to, and we can move forward. But that's definitely my takeaway this week, with school starting across the country.
Yeah, and that was an awesome takeaway, man. That's kind of the mental health aspect. It's not something you think about when you're thinking about socially distancing and not seeing people for a while. So I gave my takeaway earlier with Coach Frogg, so I won't give one today. But that was our show. That was episode 4. We're rolling here. I think we're getting better at this. We're doing a great job at this. But definitely, let people know, share us, get more people watching the show. You can find us on Apple Music, Spotify. You can definitely watch us on YouTube. Watch the interview with Coach Frogg on YouTube. Get that How to Bet video on YouTube. We might put it on IGTV too. Follow us on IG. Follow us on IG. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on all your outlets. But that was today's show. We'll be back next week.
Wait, hold on. Hey, hold up, people. Keep your phones on, your iPads on. Hey, Tucci, can you give me an update on that poll?
Oh, let me see. Live update on the poll right
Live
now.
Update on the who's more handsome poll between me.
So, for the who's most handsome poll between Stevie and Mandy, right now, as of right now, he's still got a couple of hours. We got Mandy at 55% of the vote winning, and Stevie with 45. Mandy is actually ahead by 8 votes right now.
Is this a surprise?
I mean, I had you locked in as my underdog of the week, but so Mandy covers the spread and looks like he's winning the poll. We'll keep you tuned on IG, but all right, everybody, that was the show. We'll see you later.